are listening to Waves in the Ocean, a conscious living podcast. Like the ocean, we are all part of the collective consciousness, each expressing an individual wave. In this podcast, we give you the tools to live with intention, reconnect with your true essence, and create more abundance in every aspect of your life. We are your hosts, Lauren
and Lauren,
best friends, yogis, magical beings, and ascension guides. Our intention is to share our authentic truth and bring on others living a conscious life to create a ripple effect in this world. Let's go on an amazing journey together. So today, you guys all get the privilege of getting to know my best friend, work partner, other half, Lauren Folan, a little bit more, who I already know so well. Woo! That pretty much describes her right there. The best maker of sound effects there is. We were just doing a workout before this, and I'm pretty sure she was wooing and dancing the whole time.
You gotta.
There's always an effect.
You gotta, especially in intense workouts like that.
Yes. So we're going to put Lauren in the hot seat today. And the first question I would like to ask you is, what is your sun, moon, and rising sign?
Love it. So big fan of astrology over here. So my sun is in Cancer, my moon is in Pisces, and my rising is in Virgo. I go into and studying esoteric astrology, which is soul astrology. It's a little bit different than Western astrology, but it shows you your blueprint. So of who you are and what your lessons are here to transcend. I'm also starting to get into Vedic astrology a little bit as well, being called to that direction or being told by my guides to go in that direction, actually. And in Vedic, I'm still a Cancer in my sun sign, more Sagittarius in it, more Aquarius in it, more Cancer in it, but still not completely in that realm yet.
I love it. So Lauren keeps me on track with astrology, and I just love all this stuff. But looking at my Vedic chart now, I was like, holy shit, mine is so different. This episode isn't about me, but mine is very different. So with that, going into the soul purpose, astrology, tell us a little bit about your soul purpose here based on your chart.
So based on my chart, I am here to be of service. Every aspect of my chart is hints to that and points to that notion of, with the Virgo rising, it's truly being of service with an open heart and spreading that love into the collective and leaving that blueprint into this earth. And then I have a lot of elements in community, in service, which is the 6th house, 11th house is the community, of being around people and just being of service rather than being on this separate soul journey, which is my past life patterns of wanting to be in the hut in South America and just reach enlightenment on my own, which when I'm having the up and down days of shadow work, I'm like, I should just go down and live in a hut. But I know I am so strongly being pulled to be of service, and that's my soul's purpose here, rather than the individual path to enlightenment, which is sometimes challenging.
Super challenging. I know every other day, she's like, it's going to move to the hut. That's future goals for both of us. But we just knowing how amazing you are in everything that you do, like the collective needs you.
There's work to be done in the collective first.
Yes. And there's only so far we can get out on our own too.
Mm-hmm. And that's like a hard thing too. That's when you really coming into your knowing is when you start to fine tune it, because what's the ego voice and what's the highest self voice, right? There's a long time where I convinced myself that my highest self voice was going to ashrams or spending time in solitude for extended amounts of time, or moving away and just doing this journey with a few people or myself, right?
With me.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the plants and people. If we were looking for us, we abort the mission, we might be in a hut in South America.
Exactly. I'm already
in a yoga center, like creating down there.
In the back of my mind, I'm not the back of my mind, it's not there, but the shadowy days or the days where I'm like, if the world shits the bucket or something happens, I'm like, I'll just go live in a hut and it's going to be awesome. But the edge is like, you think because of the spiritual culture, like that's the highest self side, right? But for me, I was sitting with this back and forth, and I was in not a darker place, but one of the lower vibrational places, just having such doubt in my decisions of being in such a matrix community of in Massachusetts where it's super dense and not a lot of people are awake, and being like, it would just be so much easier in a hut. I'm going to refer to that so many times probably today, but that's my ego self. In reality, I had to sit with that and finding that discernment between the highest self and the ego self. And that's 100% my ego self wanting to run away. It's my trauma self wanting to run away too, because my upbringing, I'm a runner. If things don't go my way, I'm completely fine with packing my bags and doing it alone. So it's all of these different aspects of, for so long, I'm like, no, that might be my highest self. It's not. It's my ego self kind of masking with the spiritual face or the spiritual mask on. And in reality, being here, and I love being here. It's so fun. It's so exciting. But whenever the doubt comes in, realizing that I'm here to be of service, to be of service to as many people as I can possibly be.
And do you find that doubt decreases after you do an event or you're with people and, you see your gifts that you're able to share the world?
Yes. And the doubt, and that's like a thing I'm working on myself, just doubt in general. We all have doubt in general, just because natural instinct when you were younger, whether it was maybe you didn't want to hug someone, like a family member, and your mom was like, go hug them, or you were crying and someone told you to stop crying right there, you learn that your instinct isn't right? If you're crying and someone tells you to stop crying, you're like, oh, that must not be right. I'm not right. I'm the problem. And that's what causes the doubt. So working through that doubt comes the shadow work, and also in the groups, being around community, all of the things is so uplifting. And honestly, just being my life is beautiful. It's really, really amazing. I don't have any complaints about it, and being grateful for each one of those moments.
So tell us a little bit how you got to this point in your life. It's a loaded question right there. But you're here. You're an awakened magical being.
Magical being.
Which you always refer to yourself as.
Mystic.
Which I love.
That's my job title. Whenever it's asking what I do, I say.
Yeah, she's always been that way. So Lauren and I have been friends since preschool. Used to come over to my house, sleep over with a Santa hat, a bag full of stuffed animals, and she was like a little wizard. Like, she needed it all. We used to make potions all the time. Like, we had a very fun, interesting childhood.
Yes.
And who would have thunk? Like, we should do a model on our business. An episode on our business. So this is a little like going off the topic, but
it all started with Happy Little Lauren.
It did. So Happy Little Lauren's was created, I think we were probably about like 8 years old.
Yeah, maybe younger. No, 8. Probably 8. Yeah.
We were like, our
6 seems like a little bit. But yeah, I wasn't right at 6, I don't think.
So fast forward, I mean, we probably should have thought about this, but years ago, we created a fort underneath her basement in the cellar, under the stairs. It was all blankets. We spent forever on
this. Wasn't like a fort that you throw shit on. It was like staple gun. We were using staple guns and like hammering nails. My dad was always like,
your parents were like all for it.
Yeah,
their mom helped us.
Yeah,
they were like, great. We were up like all night making this fort. And then like we turned it into our headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
We had chalkboards and we used to write like scenes down of like what the plans were. So basically, Happy Little Lauren's was a plan. Business if you needed torturing done too.
Wait, can you repeat that for the people listening?
That's what the tagline was. It was like, Happy Little Lauren's, if you need torturing done, give us a call. What we would do is we would make plans. We had all these files, and we took pictures of our sisters and like all the things.
Our sisters' friends.
Yeah, so we put them in files, and it was like, okay, how can we torture them? And it sounds horrible now, but it all was like fun and games.
We were evil Knievels.
Yes.
or whatever.
We're always like up to no good.
Up to no good.
We used to make potions. That was our thing. It was like tie Lauren's sister Jamie to a tree.
And be like, feed her the potion.
We loved making potions.
I will say none of the plans ever came through.
No, we more just like to plan it and we'll crack up at ourselves. But we did have these great binders and like we made business cards and all the things. So business mindset then.
Yeah, we also had a killer grape dip that we sold on the side of the road.
We sold it. All right. Imagine like deciding if you would stop on the side of the road for these kids that are holding this like gross little grape in their fingers. And that's how we would try to sell it. It was
not a bunch of grapes with a cup. My grubby little fingers had one grape that dipped. We had to do something to try to pass.
It was made with like Trix yogurt and like Cool Whip, and then we put sprinkles on it. So it was like, it was quite a combination.
It was really good.
It was super good, but not like I would eat that stuff now.
Should have known then. We're on to big things.
However, we had one guy stop, and I got all pumped, and I was starting across the street to go give him this grape, and I dropped it. And he didn't even, like, I was like, oh my God, I'll go get you another one. He just busted on out of there, like, super fast. And when he noticed, but that was back in the days, right? Imagination needs to be used more.
Exactly.
We had really big imaginations.
Mm-hmm. All kids do. So just encouraging that at any point in time. It's the best thing you can do now. So that's where it all began.
It all began. So tell us about your upbringing, how you got here, anything you want that you feel is like pivotal moments in your life for how you grew up, what brought you here.
Yeah. So I had a pretty standard upbringing. Parents are great. Family is great. Trauma always there, right? I didn't know I had trauma in my upbringing until I was like 28 years old. Mental health issues with people in my family, things of that nature. All of it was normal. And that's most people. You think everything in your life is normal until you realize it's not normal. But when I was growing up, it was great. Parents are really great. Lived across the street from my grandparents. That's a whole dynamic that would be a whole nother conversation for another day. But I was very motivated. I was an overachiever. So I achieved in every single thing that I did because that's how, again, that's not what I really knew then, and that's what most people are. But that's how I was taught that you're loved by achieving, by doing all of those things. So I loved sports, loved soccer, was really good at school. Through high school, was the captain of all my sports, was the star athlete in everything of the sports, top of my class, went to a good college. The standard, like what you would want for your kids in traditional matrix society America, I would say. I was the spitting image of it. And then I got a job in corporate America, corporate finance and accounting. I was working for Liberty Mutual and I was in their program to like run the company, things like that. And it was horrible.
I remember, well, both of us this time, but I remember you at this time.
Yeah.
Of course I do. It was like, I know it was like a super hard time and like all the stuff, and it's a lot of trauma there, but also like hilarious.
It was
you
hilarious.
Just didn't give a shit. You're like, can you just say couple of things I remember there just because they're super funny. I remember one time I was going on my parents' boat and like you were about to get on the train to go to work, and I texted you, and like I'm pretty sure you drove all the way there and drove back, and were like, said you have like
I said I had conjunctivitis and couldn't come in, and I had to go out on the boat with Law.
No, I just fuck it. So funny. Or the time that like you had to buy a whole new outfit.
Oh my God, this was really bad.
Like your 4-day bender.
I was partying so much because life sucked. Well, not life sucked. I'm still having fun. I thought it was fun, but work was like it wasn't what I ever wanted to do, and I just thought partying was fun. But I was like going out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, like going for it. So it was probably like a Tuesday night or something. I was in Boston with people, and I had a really long, late night. And to that point, my boss woke me up at 9 a.m., 10 o'clock maybe, calling me, asking me where I was on my phone. And I was like, fuck. did a night of partying, and I had to go to, I think it was Express or something, and I had to get a whole new outfit because I was still in my outfit from the day before. And I think drugs the night before, hooked up with a random person I didn't even know, was at his house. Don't know, sorry family, still don't know his name.
Hey, I've been there
100%. And it was just like a nightmare. Looking back, it's also funny.
It was the funniest part. She'd call me, and we used to go to the Venus and Hanson all the time, where we would just crush it. Right?
Yeah.
I remember that Friday you called me and you were like, at the Venus.
Oh, yeah. So I just continued.
You continued and you were in that outfit.
I just continued in the outfit. You're right.
I didn't even go home to change or anything. Or think about what you did or maybe shower or take a break. It was you just continued. You went right from work in that outfit to go out again.
So it was a Thursday going to Friday. You're right. I forgot about that.
Oh my God. There was so many angels and guides looking out for you because they were like, she's got to make it and help them.
Yeah, I've made a lot of risky decisions in my life. And my guides, thank you so much, from going on random boats with people in a foreign country that I don't even know in the middle of the night. Things like that, just to have fun with my friends. They're watching out. Very, very thankful. But it's that balance, right? I never had any real repercussions, in my opinion. Even work-wise, yeah, I showed up late for work, but I was still very good at what I did. And because I was still the overachiever there. Although I didn't really care that much. There was one point when my boss was like, okay. He came to me, I had to go in his office, and he's like, can you just give me something? He's like, can you pretend to care? But my work was always great. I was excellent. And I was like, why? He's like, why don't you just try to ask some questions? I'm like, I don't have any questions. I get it. This job is stupid. It's just I can input information into a computer and all of those things. But a learning point, I don't regret any of that at all. And I look back and it's just so funny to me. It was looking back, I'm like, oh, I was at a place where I didn't really love myself, or I didn't love myself at all. But at the same time, I look back and I was like, I had so much fun in those moments too. It's kind of this crazy looking glass I'm looking through. And I don't regret any of it. I wouldn't change any of it ever, because everything's exactly perfect as well.
Right. And that's all your lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think without it, you wouldn't be as humble or understanding of where people are at in their lives if you hadn't gone through it yourself. So it's, I think, taking the perspective of learning, and now you can relate to people so much more that need help.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Getting out of that matrix of a life or jobs that make you unhappy, because that's where those behaviors often come from.
Yeah, because you're doing it, or I was doing it because I thought I had to do it. And it was the way I did what I was told. I got the fancy job in finance and in business. I went to the fancy school. I did all of the things. But the part of me always knew it was all bullshit. We have one of our friends, Kelsey. We would always talk about that, even as I was going into college, because she's grounded. She's Mother Nature, and she's just very connected. Always has been. And we would discuss that, but I could not go against the grain at that point in my life. It was success was the end goal. Doesn't matter about your happiness. It's about how much money you make. Even though I had this like I said, I've always been a wizard. I've always had this mystical energy about me. I've just always been attracted to things that aren't real, right? And people would be drawing their houses when you're younger. People would draw their house, right? We get the assignment in school to draw my house. Mine was always in the clouds, and I had fairies around me, and it would be a castle and magical creatures. And Sally next to me had a white picket fence and was like, I'm going to get married.
That was me.
I'm in my house would be on the clouds, just interesting. And then as through college, so I get asked this question of people, or I've been asked it before, of was it hard waking up? And there part of me that always was, because I've always, not knowing I had these awarenesses of conspiracy. I've always been a conspiracy theorist. In high school, I wrote a 20-page paper on how like the Lincoln assassination was planned by the government and the CIA and all of these things. And that's how I always my mind has turned a little bit. So coming into this world, I wasn't like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, obviously. I've always had the blinds open in that aspect. And then just quitting my job, which was funny. When I got my job, I knew I was going to quit. I realized I was never going to be in finance when I was in college. I went to Bentley, so I went to a business school, and I was stuck in my major. You couldn't even change it to anything else. I wasn't going to switch schools. I went to Australia my junior year, and that was like the solidifier for me, studying abroad. I was like, oh, I'm never going to do this ever. I will never do this. So I finished college, and I was like, I'll work for 2 years and then figure it out from then. I never told anyone that. That was always a plan in my head.
I think I knew.
You knew, probably. It was always planned. I was doing it to make people happy. My parents happy, everyone in my life, my teachers happy, my coaches happy, all of the things to make people happy, to say I did it. And even coming out of it, I knew we were going to have a business, or I've been thinking of yoga studios, a wellness center since I was 21 years old. So even when I retired from corporate, I already knew this was the end goal, but I went to teaching because to me, I was still stuck in that. Like I felt like I couldn't tell my parents I was going to quit business and then become a yoga instructor. But I could quit business and then be a math teacher and a yoga instructor.
Were you into yoga at the time when you quit?
Yeah.
You were? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the exact timeline.
Not as much as I am now, obviously. It was like more of the beginning of my practice. So I became a math teacher and a yoga instructor at the same time because it gave validation to myself. No one could tell me not to go be a teacher, helping kids. And I loved being a teacher. I love working with kids, but the school system sucks. The administrative bullshit, all of the politics around it is just not a kid-friendly world. At the same time, I went back to school for a year I got a post-bac degree in middle school, high school math. And I think I passed like a business test. I could teach business, middle school, high school, electives, things like that. And that summer, I went to visit Lauren and got my yoga instructor license, not license, whatever, certificate, whatever you want to call it. And that's what really started this spiritual journey for me of like meditation and breath work. I went to a really traditional studio, Ashtanga based. But when I went, I think we talked about this before, I was like, I didn't even eat vegetables, let alone be like vegetarian or anything like that. I was still so
pickles
far.
And condiments.
Yeah, I just started eating pickles.
Your entire plate used to be not full of food. It was just like condiments.
Yeah, so that's what I would just like dip different sauces.
And I'm the opposite of that. Like sauces freak me out. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. That time I would say yoga is what really like helped me with my relationship with food. I would say it was still healthy at that aspect, healthier than it was when I was in college going through eating disorders and all of that thing. But yoga definitely helped me love myself for all of that stuff to kind of dissipate, I guess I should say.
Seem to have brought more connection to your body.
Yeah.
Of how you felt, what you ate, like what was good for you.
Exactly. More awareness. And then a couple years later, I think it was in 2017, I went to another yoga training. I love trainings. I love learning. So I have like thousands of hours at this point. I went to another yoga teacher training and they said, no, you have to be vegan and no onion, no garlic for the week. And I just never went back to meat. I still did dairy and things like that. And I did definitely eat garlic. I hate onions, but
sometimes cook onions in the cooking to surprise her. Sometimes they're hidden enough. Sometimes they're not, but I love onions.
Yeah, most people do. I just don't
know they have good gut healing properties. However, they do kind of make you smell, but I just love them.
I will say it's not the taste. It's the taste that remains after you're done eating. I can't stand. Even if you brush your teeth, it's still there. It's disgusting.
No good.
No good indeed.
No good. Okay, so you've had this upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
You started out as very super aware, all the things, some trauma in your younger life, wanted to be perfect, went to college, tried to be perfect, didn't fit the mold, but still tried anyways to like diet down a little bit.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
Now I'm here. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.
So what do you do now?
I am a magical being.
That is the job description?
Yes. So we work together. We do lead healing events, shadow work coaching, breathwork sessions, do one-on-one sessions with people, educate people about like their astrology, the way the universe works, and do energy healing. I'm a yoga instructor, lead yoga teacher trainings. It's a whole like mishmash of a lot of stuff, to be quite honest. Say mainly holding space for people is what I do. Hold space for people to heal, to grow, to shed their layers and realize they can feel so much better than they do in that current moment.
And how has, so you're a yoga instructor, right? Mm-hmm. How did this transform into that? Or when did did you have like one big pivotal awakening moment that shifted things? Or tell us a little bit about how from 2017, you finally stopped eating meat. Mm-hmm. And how'd you get here to be a magical space holder?
Space holder, right?
I think it keeps decreasing and decreasing, right? It's like, what does this girl do?
It's funny. Like, what are we trying to narrow down?
Yes.
You can't put me in a box. It was just a journey, right? So the progression of the yogic path, I will account most of it towards. So the 8-limb path is you get deeper into these points of real self-actualization, self-realization. It's talked about in yoga. And I would go to trainings, and I traveled to India, and that was a big opening point to me of realizing and seeing how much of the practice is not shown in the Western world, and like the truth and importance of the practice. Like, we went to practice in India, they didn't give a damn about the physical postures. They didn't care about asana. They were like, that is not the practice. It was the breath work. It was the meditation. It was all of these things that helped me find more peace and more love in every aspect of my life. So it was through those moments that I learned to love myself, and I created this bigger understanding of the universe and was just creating more joy within. And then getting deeper on the path, 2020 happened, COVID, all that sham of a shit. And that gave me the opportunity to stop. And at that point, I was already researching, because it just in the realm, plant medicines and ayahuasca. And probably into 2019 is when I really started, and I was like, I want to go do these things. And I was looking at something like, I was looking for places in 2020 to go to. And I asked Lauren, I asked my partner. Everyone was like, no, I'm not going. I was like, I will go by myself. It's fine. And then
I remember you saying, I'm going to be enlightened.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're like, you got to come. We got to go get enlightened.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's that? It's a little different experience than that, but it's a part of the path. And it totally just like skyrockets you open.
Yeah.
But I think it all worked out perfectly, because by the time you went, we were all on board.
Exactly. It was perfect. And in between that, I was just reading lots of books. Things were just being introduced to me. I was going down the Many Lives, Many Masters, energy healing books, reading about the ancient yogis. And that was a big aspect of in my training in India. It was hearing the stories of the yogis. And I was like, this is true. And I was like, I'm going to be like that, of how they can levitate, how they can apparate, how they can do mind control or read minds, and they can step out of the illusion that this world is. And I was just felt it resonate so much in the depths of my knowing. And I just knew it was true. And I knew that they were living till 500 years old. And I was like, I'm going to go to the Himalayas and just sit in a cave. And I'm just so attracted to that stuff. So I just kept following that path of reading books and information, the biography of Yogananda, all of these different types of information that's out there. Then it brought me to Dolores Cannon. And I'll say Dolores' Cannon, The Convoluted Universe, was like, it's like a 22-hour book. I think I read it or listened to it, I should say, on Audible in like less than a week, 5 days maybe. I was listening to it in the shower. I was listening to it while I was cooking. I was like, it was so.
I need to listen to it.
Oh, Dolores Cannon is amazing.
I listened to her YouTubes. I haven't listened or read any of her books yet.
Yeah.
There's just so many things out there, you know?
There is.
And then I'm like, she can just tell me. Like, you read that one, I'll read a different one.
Exactly. So then it was going to see like a QHHT. I went to this woman near me, and she's Andre. She's amazing. And she was trained under Dolores Cannon. And I spent a 10-hour session at her house. Like, I had my friends calling me, like, my friend was calling Stephen, being like, where is she? She went to this random place in Haverhill. Haven't heard from her. I was just at this woman's house talking about like the fifth dimension and all of this stuff. And it just going down the rabbit hole in such a deep way, doing the ceremonies, the meditations, the healings, following our spiritual teachers, Eldor and Saman. They've done so much. We found them, I think, in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, I feel I know these people.
Yeah.
And I
just
couldn't
like
stop
that,
watching them.
that soul resonance. And I was like, okay. And it's 2 years later, probably, it's been a complete 180. I wish there was a better descriptor word, because it's so much more than 180. Like, through the whole journey, my parents would be like, I just don't even know you. Not in a bad way. Like, they're not like, I don't know you. They just be like, it's just so crazy how much I have changed in such a short amount of time.
It's coming back to the truth of who you are.
Exactly. It can happen fast.
Mm-hmm. So some people have a spontaneous, like, Kundalini awakening, where the awakening happens really, really fast.
Yes. And then they just know. It's like an all-knowing.
But for you, it sounds like it's been a gradual shift, but got super fast 2020 later on, and now just keeps getting deeper and deeper.
It's deeper and deeper. It's like the Kundalini awakenings, the energy. I've felt and experienced the breathwork ceremonies, so many altered states of consciousness and deep understanding and knowing. And that's how, I don't know how to, I always say I shouldn't even say it because it's a limiting belief, I guess, too, but I wish I could speak. You know what? It's not even me. I wish there were words. Our language is so limited that I wish I could speak what's in my head. In this deep, resonant knowing and trust that I don't question people like, oh, you're crazy. I don't know. I just know. And they're like, how do you know? It's because it's felt so deeply in my soul and it resonates so much that I don't even question it.
Love that. What would your best advice be to somebody who is starting on this awakening journey? It can be hard. If you don't have the support, honestly, sometimes I don't know. We're not meant to do this alone.
No.
I could not have done it alone. And I still, every other day, I'm like, oh man, this is coming up. And it's a beautiful journey that I wouldn't change for anything, but it can be really hard, especially when the life you thought you were meant to have, this job, this relationship, this house, it can rock you to this is what you thought you wanted. We're going to show you really what you need. What would you best suggest, or if you have any advice, what would that be?
It's on to educate yourself, read the books, have the background, go into the rabbit holes, like learn and then experience. Go to the support groups, go to the breath work, do the ceremonies, tune into people in the community around you that are doing this stuff and ask them questions, work one-on-one with people to learn the shadow work so you can clear your shit to vibrate higher. Because if you're not clearing your shit, I'm going to say it probably every episode that we ever talk. If you're not doing the shadow work, you're going to stay here. That's it. There's no way around it. That's just it. And if you're like, why is everything the same? Why am I always anxious? Why am I not? Because you're not doing the work. You're not looking at yourself. And if you're like, yes, I am, then you reach out to people who can support you with a more tangible way of doing that. Or maybe there's something that you're missing there. And then also meditate. I think meditate is one of the most important things you can do, whether it's a guided meditation to start, but get to a point where you're meditating on your own without guided meditations, or just even sitting in silence, giving yourself this place of being without distraction. So you actually can start building a relationship with your body and realizing what you really think. Because you're going to one place, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. There's no time to see how you actually feel. So slowing down and finding that space.
I love that. Mm-hmm. So take me through a day of what does it look like to live a typical day in the life of Lauren Elizabeth Folan.
It's a great day. Every day's different. That's the thing. My schedule's so all over the place in a good way, but I'll take you through one of my busier days. Sometimes I've been working on just being. So sometimes it's a lot of sitting in tubs, sitting on my bed, sitting on couches and chilling, sitting outside in nature. But usually I like to wake up. I'm in the practice of asking my body what it needs. It was a huge schedule of being like, I'm going to go to this yoga class Monday, this HIIT class Tuesday, yoga here Wednesday, yoga here Thursday. And now I'm in this process of eliminating that and bringing more being into my life. So I'll wake up and see what movement, if any, my body wants to do that day and go to a class, maybe not go to a class. Generally, the first thing I do when I wake up, I should say, is I meditate. So I bring a pillar of white light through the crown of my head, cleanse my body, open my chakras, visualize my year. Visualize my day, then visualize my year, the next 5 years, whatever comes through. Have a smoothie for breakfast, Purium, go to a class perhaps, come home, do some work for our business, try to spend time outside in nature, sit in the sun. If it's a sunny day, I will just be sitting outside, basking in the rays, at least for a half hour. Meditation, breath work, half hour maybe. Teach a yoga class, and then take a bath and eat dinner. Another smoothie, perhaps. I usually have like meal, snacks, and smoothies is like my diet for.
It's very typical. You're not much of a foodie.
I'm not a foodie at all.
Eat to survive over here.
I like pickles, cashews, hummus. I'm like, good.
Yes. What's your favorite go-to food right now?
Smoothie. Like if I had to pick a food. My face in general, I'm like, ugh. Lauren's a great cook. So whatever she makes is spot on. She makes a good stew.
I love that.
So
thanks.
My concoctions, I can't say the same. I can't say the same things about.
You make some good pickles.
I make good fermented foods. So Lauren came to the conclusion, she's very right. I am an amazing smoothie, anything with a blender or food processor, or fermented pickles. That's what I can cook.
She does all the extras, but she doesn't make food. So it's like, I will spend forever whipping up these fermented foods and salt baths and all these concoctions, like her own elderberry syrup all the time, but there is no food. And so that cracks me up because that's what I put priorities to. I'm like, all right, we're going to do some meal prep, all the things. And then usually that's what takes more time. So I don't really have the time to do all those things. I guess it's a good combination though.
Yeah.
Because I like food.
Yeah, I like potions. I make my own salt baths, energy clearing things.
You're a wizard.
Syrups. And
Wizard fairy.
Yes. That's what I like to do. I like blending stuff up and making hummus.
It's all good though. There's just got to be a balance.
A balance.
Yes. But awesome stuff. So yeah, it sounds like your day is freaking awesome.
It is awesome. I love my days. There's a lot of space in my days to chill and be. And then the other times is doing and moving. I don't have that much structure right now because I just did the whole month of like stopping all of my clients. I stepped back from a couple of classes I was teaching. So it's going to be interesting to see my schedule when I get back the next few weeks to working and doing a little bit more. But every day is different and I like it that way.
What advice would you give to somebody since your schedule is so open, you have time for hours of meditation and nature and yoga and all the things every day. Would you say that in order to get where you are, somebody has to have that amount of time to do all those things?
No. I started this journey with being a full-time teacher, or I guess it was a little before that, but being a full-time teacher and teaching, like on top of being a full-time teacher, teaching 10 fitness classes in the week. So I understand the hustle. I don't have kids, so that's one thing I can't really speak to when I know how I have nieces and nephews and I see how not challenging, kids are beautiful, but how much stress that can put on a family or not. Yes, on a family in general, but also on yourself to be like, oh, I don't have the time because I have to take care of someone. But making yourself a priority to carve out the time. And I'm not talking hours upon hours upon hours. I'm saying give yourself at least, you can give yourself a half hour to meditate, to sit in stillness, to take a bath, to do something that you love, to draw, to sit outside or go take a walk. You can give yourself a half hour. And if you're like, no, I can't, that means you're deciding not to. You have to make the choice, and you have to make the choice to do things differently than you have been doing. Your kids will benefit so much more. Your job will benefit so much more. You'll show up so much more in whatever that you're doing if you give yourself that space. So finding a half hour to prioritize yourself, and then seeing and doing like in the car rather than listening to music every day or while you're cooking, unless that's your like meditative space. Watching TV, if you're just trying to veg out or you're scrolling on your phone, put on an Audible for a half hour. Switch up little things throughout your week, maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week.
We were just talking about this before of how when you're in a place where you aren't happy, aren't meeting your goals, if you keep repeating the same things, something has to change for you to change.
Yes.
And for every single person, like you need to take time for yourselves. That's what we're here to do. We're not here to be responsible for other people's happiness.
Yeah.
Things. You're going to see best results in other people when you take time for you. And we both come from backgrounds of working a lot.
Yeah.
It's just this point in our lives, Laura does have a little more time than me.
Yeah.
But it's okay, right? We're all in that ebbs and flows. And it's just about creating and finding something that works for you in any stage of your life where you're at, because you matter.
Exactly. And setting those boundaries. And especially if you have kids and you're still like, go F yourself. You guys have no idea. You got to get them involved in it then. If like you can't separate, you have to teach them how to meditate. Like, all right, we're going to sit for 5 minutes. That might seem like such a crazy task, but that's the way it has to go. If you are truly interested on walking this path, you don't have to be, right? You might not be. It might be something that's interesting to you in this moment, but with the way the world is going, this is the shift.
This is the shift. And once you truly awaken and you put on the glasses, you can't take them off. There really is no other choice. You can take breaks, but life will bring you back. No matter what. This lifetime, next lifetimes, we all got to do it.
Exactly.
So it's finding the joy and gratefulness in each moment. So what in your life is like lighting you up right now? What brings you joy? What are you passionate about? Is there like 1 or 2 things that...
Yes. I love work, for one. That does bring me a lot of joy. Spending time with my friends, working out, all of the things I do for work, I really enjoy. So I'm trying right now to find something that's like super duper fun that I love. I'm still on the journey for it.
You'll have to keep us updated.
I know.
We spent a while I was listing out all these things that you should try.
She is. And then she's like, and this is part of me, I'm an extremist, right? All of these things like fun, like class day, I was having a blast. I was dancing, but I'm like looking for that.
She's looking for like a psychedelic experience laughter every day of her life.
Every day of my life.
You're like, but it's, you remember that? You're like, I want it to be like, remember that time we went on the plant medicine retreat and we both started dying?
I was like
drooling, and we were going down the stairs like on blankets, like they were sleds. And I'm like, yeah, that was freaking awesome. She's like, I want to find something that's that fun every day. However, this morning was really funny.
It was fun.
Today was fun. Well, I don't know if you would call it fun. Like
I thought it was. I was cracking up.
Well, I was cracking up at you when you spilled shit all over your face.
That was fun.
That was fun. I was laughing. This morning, we're on our way to go to Strive, awesome yoga fitness studio down in the South Shore. And I was like, well, come with me. Like my car's all heated up. You know, it was a little windy here last night. And it realized like it adjusted the side of my mirror. So as I was driving, it looked like I was about to crash and I jammed on the brakes. So we started to back up. Lauren's trying to sip her Purium greens, which we love.
Amazing.
She got one sip and I look over at her and it's all over you.
It was like, it's not all over me. It was stuck in the crevice of my eyes. My whole face from here to here was green. I blew my nose, green all out of my nose, came down my neck, over my chest, onto the seat, splattered all over my legs. This girl over here, she's still chatting with herself. Oh, the mirror, something happened. I can't stop. Like, she thought she was going to hit a car. She thought she was going to back into a car that was next to her. Not even behind.
It was weird.
It was weird. It wasn't her defense. It was weird, but still.
I was so jammed on the brakes.
So imagine me. I wish I had a picture of it. Like reading this all the way. She looks over and goes, are you okay to go like that? Like legit. She's like, you're, because we were running a little late, short on time already. She's like, you're okay to go like that, right?
Why are you late?
I looked at her. And I looked down and I think I was crack. I got out of the car and I had a vest on, the Oro vests. They're amazing. They're heated vests. They're great. I walk in the house with my partner. He's like, the vest, because they're like, have electricity all in them. I'm like, it's fine.
I come in like dying laughing. He's all upset. I'm like, shit.
But like, honestly, if I get something like that every day,
that really like laughter shifts everything. After that, it was just like, you know, it puts you in a good place. So yeah,
funny.
So it sounds like you're looking for something that makes it like super fun and laughter filled.
But I think I do really want that. But I'm going to also like just bring that to everything that I do. It doesn't have to be that way, but like finding that in all the mundane tasks as well.
That is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Last question for you. How are you making your own unique wave in the ocean?
Ooh.
Summarize that. I know we talked a lot of stuff.
Just by showing up as or learning to, because it's a learning process here, realizing that me, myself, my frequency is all I need to do, and showing up into all of those situations here and taking that frequency of fun, of healing, of getting into your shadows and doing the work and spreading that to every single person I meet. Whether it's through our wellness center we're going to open, through the podcast, taking this unique energy of quirky, intense healing modalities and putting it into the blueprint of this earth, of conscious living.
I love that. Doing great.
Infusing it to everything we do.
Mm-hmm. So amazing. It's been amazing interviewing you. I know I already know all these things, but there are always stories that I can relive because I've been my best friend since preschool. And it's so fun to go down memory lane with your old friends just to see how far you've come. And even like
we used to store Jolly Ranchers in our soccer jackets that we would refuse
my soccer
to
jacket
take
was
off.
So gross. It was like grungy and brown and like I would never take it off. And every day I would put Jolly Ranchers in it to go like give to friends because I was just trying to share. I remember taking a jar of it in my house and I would dump it in and my mom would be like, Lauren, what are you doing? I'm like, but everybody everybody in class needs a Jolly Rancher from my grungy looking soccer
The
coat.
funniest thing though is like you're in class, it's like 6th grade, right? And you're trying to be discreet, pass a Jolly Rancher. Lauren's like, give me a Jolly Rancher, Lauren. And then it's like, it's all fucking Velcro. Her teacher's and she's like, open it up as discreet as possible.
Oh man, we're sharing wealth and love in other ways now. But it's all good. So yes, I think that wraps it up today. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Good stuff. You know where to find us. You know where to find her. Yogi Lauren's Instagram, all the things. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. For more information on our classes, events, and retreats, check out our website at yogilawrence.com, linked in the show notes. We love to hear how you are making your own unique wave in the ocean. Connect with us on Instagram at Yogi Lawrence. See you next time.